Emerging from the rugged landscapes of Scandinavia, the Vikings began their journey in history. They were not just a people. They were an era-defining force. The Vikings hailed from what we now know as Norway, Sweden, and Denmark. Their homeland was a realm of extremes, where icy winters contrasted with brief, vibrant summers, and the terrain was as unforgiving as it was beautiful. This challenging environment shaped a resilient and adaptable people. In these lands, the Vikings developed a culture deeply connected to nature and the sea. Most Vikings were farmers, fishermen, and skilled craftsmen. They lived in small communities, bound by a common need to survive the harshness of their environment. Their lives were a testament to their fortitude and resourcefulness, qualities that would serve them well beyond their homelands. But the Vikings are best remembered for their exploits beyond Scandinavia. Before continuing the video, please subscribe and like the video as it really helps the channel to grow. They were fierce warriors, their reputation preceding them across Europe. They embarked on raids driven by various motives: wealth, honor, and sometimes sheer adventure. These raids were lightning fast, striking with a precision and ferocity that left their targets reeling. One of the most significant raids marking the beginning of the Viking Age was the attack on the Lindisfarne Monastery in 793 AD. This raid not only signified the Vikings' military prowess, but also their reach and ambition. Lindisfarne, a center of Christian learning and culture in England, was ill-prepared for the ferocity of the Viking raiders. This event echoed across Europe, a stark reminder of the new era that had dawned, an era where the Vikings would leave an indelible mark on history. Thus began the Viking Age, a period characterized by exploration, conquest, and cultural exchange, forever altering the course of European history. The Vikings were not just warriors, they were master mariners and shipbuilders, their skills unparalleled in the medieval world. The heart of this maritime prowess lay in their extraordinary ships. The Viking longship, with its iconic long, narrow hull and shallow draft, was a marvel of design. These ships were fast, flexible, and could navigate both the high seas and shallow rivers. Their symmetrical bow and stern allowed them to reverse direction quickly without turning around, an invaluable trait during raids. Their shipbuilding techniques were passed down through generations, honed by the demands of their environment. Crafted from the abundant forests of Scandinavia, these vessels were both sturdy and light. The use of overlapping planks, a technique known as clinker building, gave these ships both strength and flexibility. The Vikings' ability to cover long distances and their skill in celestial navigation, reading the stars, and the sun's path set them apart as explorers and raiders. This mastery of the seas opened the world to the Vikings. They established far-reaching trade networks, connecting Scandinavia with the rest of Europe, the Mediterranean, and even parts of Asia. Their quests for trade and new territories led them to settle in lands far from their Scandinavian origins. They established settlements in Britain and Ireland, assimilating and influencing local cultures. In France, they founded Normandy, a region named for these men of the north. Their exploratory zeal even took them to the shores of North America, centuries before Columbus, where they established a settlement known as Vinland. The Viking Age was thus a time of extraordinary expansion. The legacy of the Vikings, as both raiders and settlers, left an indelible mark on the history of Europe and the world. The society and culture of the Vikings were as complex as their voyages were far-reaching. At the heart of Viking society was a well-defined social structure. At the top were the Jarls, the noble class of warriors and landowners. They wielded significant power, both in governance and in battle. Below them were the Karls, the free commoners who formed the backbone of Viking society. These were the farmers, craftsmen, and traders, the men and women who worked the land and sea to sustain their communities. At the bottom were the thralls, slaves captured during raids or born into servitude. Their lives were harsh, reflecting the era's brutal realities. Everyday life in Viking society revolved around survival and self-sufficiency. Farming was a primary occupation, with families growing crops and raising livestock. Craftsmanship was highly valued, with skilled artisans creating everything from weaponry and ships to intricate jewelry. The Viking longhouses, with their large communal living spaces, were centers of family and social life, where stories were passed down and traditions upheld. Central to Viking culture was their religion and mythology, a rich tapestry of gods, goddesses, and legendary tales. Norse mythology was polytheistic, with deities like Odin, the all-father and god of wisdom and war, Thor, the thunder god known for his mighty hammer Mjolnir, and Freya, the goddess of love and fertility. These gods and their stories were integral to Viking belief systems, influencing everything from their rituals to their moral code. The Vikings believed in a cosmology of 9 worlds, all interconnected around the world tree, Yggdrasil. Their myths spoke of valiant heroes and epic battles, shaping their understanding of life, death, and the afterlife. This belief system, with its emphasis on fate and the valor of warriors, was reflected in their way of life. From the cradle to the grave, the Vikings' beliefs guided them, giving their world meaning and purpose. In sum, Viking society was a rich tapestry of social hierarchy, daily struggle, and deep-seated beliefs. Their culture, steeped in the lore of their gods and the harsh realities of their environment, shaped a people whose legacy continues to fascinate and inspire. The Vikings left behind a unique legacy in the form of runes and art, etching their stories and beliefs into the very fabric of history. Runes, the written alphabet of the Vikings, were more than just letters. They were symbols of power and mystery. Used for everything from mundane inscriptions to magical and religious purposes, these angular characters were carved into stone, wood, and metal. The runestones, scattered across the Nordic landscape, bear witness to their history, tales of conquest and homage to fallen warriors. The artistic expression of the Vikings was equally distinctive. This style, known as animal art, was prevalent in their carvings, jewelry, and even in the design of their ships. The prow of a Viking longship, often fashioned into a fearsome dragon or serpent, was not just a display of craftsmanship but also a symbol of protection and power. Their art was a reflection of their world, imbued with symbolism and the mythological creatures that inhabited their stories. As the Viking Age drew to a close, several factors contributed to its end. One of the most significant was the Christianization of Scandinavia. The adoption of Christianity brought about a gradual shift in cultural and social practices, replacing the old gods and traditions with new beliefs and customs. This religious transformation also led to changes in societal values and norms, including a decrease in raiding and a shift towards more structured forms of governance. Additionally, the political landscape of Europe was changing. The formation of more centralized and powerful states, capable of resisting Viking raids, reduced opportunities for plunder and conquest. The feudal system and the rise of powerful monarchies transformed the social and political dynamics of Europe, making it less vulnerable to Viking incursions. The end of the Viking Age marked the integration of the Norse people into the broader tapestry of European history. The impact of Viking culture on modern societies is profound and multifaceted. Linguistically, the Vikings left an indelible mark on the English language. Many words in modern English, particularly those related to seafaring and administration, have Old Norse roots. Their influence is also evident in place names throughout the regions they settled, especially in England, Scotland, and Ireland. Culturally, the legacy of the Vikings is rich and enduring. From literature to visual arts, their mythology and storytelling traditions continue to captivate the imagination of people around the world. The sagas and tales of Norse gods and heroes, once shared around Viking hearths, now form part of the world's literary heritage. Their themes of bravery, adventure, and the exploration of the unknown resonate through time, influencing various forms of modern media and entertainment. Moreover, the Viking spirit of exploration and discovery is a lasting legacy that has inspired countless generations. Their daring voyages to unknown lands embody a human curiosity and a drive to explore the world around us, qualities that continue to define our quest for knowledge and understanding. In summary, the Vikings, once seen as mere raiders and conquerors, have left a lasting impact that transcends time and geography. In the upcoming videos, we will cover more stories from history and mythology. Please comment, like the video, and see you in the next one.